Hello, friends, and welcome to Your Daily Detroit. It is a sunny Monday here in the North End, March 21st, 2022. And because it is Monday, it is our day to look at the match days, the match day from the weekend before and match day the week ahead. And to do that, Fletcher Sharpe. How are you, sir?
I'm glad it's sunny. It's nice weather. You can wear shorts and people don't look at you funny. So I'm glad for that. Hopefully we can keep this consistency going forward in the weather.
You know, I have a friend who posts Instagram reels of people or Instagram stories of people with shorts on the wrong weather. It's just a whole feed of shorts and bare legs and 30 degrees.
I mean, that kind of used to be me as a kid. And then like one time I put on shorts and I was like, it's nice. And I stepped outside like, it's not as breezy. It's nice. And I looked at my watch and I'm like, it's 38 degrees. I really should not be wearing shorts right now, but I'm not going to go put on pants. I'm just going to deal with it. So I'm glad that now I can do that. And my neighbors aren't like, are you okay? Like, do you not have clothes or something? So,
well, our show is in three big parts today. The first part, let's talk about that match against Charleston Battery. Ring it up. 3 points for Detroit City FC. They pulled out the win. Fletcher, it looks like you were kind of redeemed. Not even redeemed. You were right.
Yeah, we had some people who questioned my soccer IQ, some even going the lengths of calling me an idiot for saying that Detroit City FC had nothing to worry about with Charleston Battery. If this was a boxing match, maybe there's only one knockdown, but like DCFC scored every round on points. It's power punches, jabs, punch percentage, etc. Whatever other boxing stats there are. Like they won by a fair amount. With this 1-0, obviously 1-0 is not like, you know, the biggest margin, but they were controlling the game. The first half, Charleston had more chances, I guess, but they had lower control. DCFC finished with a 60-40 possession win, more passes completed, more passes attempted, less saves, less fouls, less yellow cards, showing their composure. Just, yeah, they overall played a really great game. And honestly, I was really impressed with Devin Amu-Mensah, who I knew was a known commodity from the Michigan Stars. I knew that he was a great defender. I knew that he had a high work rate. He would go wherever. What I did not know is that he could pass the ball from the back that accurately the way that he does. He is the missing piece back there. I know when they had Javon Torre and he was not re-signed, I worried about whoever would slot in there. Yeah, Devin potentially, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, I see an all league nomination in his future.
When we did our post-match real-time wrap-up, you made him your man of the match. Why is that and not the goal scorer, Hopano?
Well, Hopano had a nice game, but his goal really came because he was in the right place at the right time, and that's also a skill in soccer. You could be like the slowest, not the highest of athleticism, but just know how to be at the right place in the right time. There's a player in Germany, Thomas Muller, who's just like that, where he just happens to pop up. And that's what Hopano is supposed to be. It's a guy who pops up, cleans up the garbage, and does whatever. But aside from that moment, he was kind of not really that present in the game. He could have had more chances. Anywhere you looked for a ball, Devin Amu-Mensah was within 5 or 6 yards of the ball, whether it was in the defensive half, the offensive half, middle of the field, defensive corner kicks, offensive corner kicks. He was just present. And to have your center back able to run like that for the entire game, that's a very nice thing to have. So I would want to reward someone who is busting his tail the entire match.
That said, credit where credit is due, the team is getting tighter. Like the thing we were worried about in the first match, it seems like they are making progress on connecting those passes. And they even did it on a wet field.
Yeah, part of that, I think the first game was new teammates actually playing for real. Not that the friendlies weren't for real, but actually playing, you know, a friendly, it's like we lose, whatever. You're not taking a loss in the standings. You're just, you know, losing. Whereas an actual league game, you lose. It's like, all right, well, we lost points. We moved down the standings, a bit more out of playoff position, etc. The first game against San Antonio, very quality defensive team, very compact, kind of play the similar way the DCFC does, different formation, but they play from the back. They play, hey, we defend, we get the ball up, and then we attack, like how DCFC plays. Charleston, a bit more different. They're more of we get the ball to the middle, try to force it to our forwards, and hope we do something good. And that's not going to fly against Detroit. Detroit is going to, every single time you try to do that, force you to take a very bad shot. And if it goes in, it goes in. They had a chance early with their number 9, who had a free kick that struck off the post. And honestly, had it been maybe a few inches to the left, probably would have snuck in the corner because everyone was late to react to it because they thought it was going out of bounds. They showed their passing triangles in the middle. And like you said, with a wet field, they adjusted well. They didn't really have many passes that got away from people. They had a few crosses that were kind of errant, but like for the most part,
that wind was big there too, though.
Yeah, for the most part, their balls landed where they're supposed to land. So,
building on a point that another podcast made, the USL show, they've been having this debate, kind of like where would DCFC step into the USL, considering that so many of its players are from NISA. I think game 1, we know that Nate Steinwasser is a USL level keeper. Game 2, Detroit City FC 100% deserves to be in the USL and is a competitive club right off the bat.
Definitely. And like, in my opinion, they're not really an expansion club. Monterey Bay, expansion club. They literally have no history. They were grown in a lab and just said, all right, come out, play. They signed some players off the street, some players from college teams, some players from other teams. But like one of their goal scorers from the first week was literally someone who came to a tryout and was like, hey, you're not half bad. Here's a jersey. And that's a great story for them, but it just shows a difference between them and DCFC, where DCFC's been around established for 10 to 12 years. They have a backstory. They have a history of success. They have a trophy cabinet filled to the brim with trophies right above the bar at the field house, if you ever want to wonder where. So like they are a quality side that have a history there. They have players who might have played at NISA. They have players who played in the USL Championship before. So for people to be like, well, they're going to be a bad team, that's just other fans of opposing teams wanting to like wish bad juju on them. And like I understand to a degree, but for anyone who's like actual media to say those words, it's really silly.
So I look at it to be generous and to say people have blinders on when they look at only one league and they don't look at the totality of soccer, kind of the whole system. Because if you had looked at the totality, you would have seen that DCFC has those abilities.
And like to that point, and the point I was making, I understand people doubting NISA. Sure, that's totally fine if you want to doubt NISA.
Especially the front office. But when we're talking about the players, it's a different story.
Doubting the best team in NISA, who, by the way, also took some of the best players from that said league to come into your league. Maybe saying maybe they might not be whatever is fine. But after the first game where they went toe-to-toe with one of your perennial, I think the number 1 ranked team to win the championship, went toe-to-toe with them and save for like a 5-second window where they just had a goof defensively, held their own. Yeah, that goes out of the window. Like if they'd gotten pounded that first game, totally fair. If they'd lost, 2-0 with like a nice showing, but still kind of sure. But going toe-to-toe and save for that, they lost. I'm not even going to say that they didn't deserve to lose because they lost. That's baseline. But even with the showing that they had, yeah, to say like, oh, we're still not sure if they can compete, stop it. Because other teams fear San Antonio. And the fact that DCFC went in there, put their 10 toes down and said, we're going to go in here. We're going to try to win this game. Okay. They should have every other team's respect going forward. The fans, whatever. Sometimes fans are silly and they don't understand stuff. But like the actual teams they're playing, going forward, every team should respect when they come to Keyworth or when the Le Rouge comes to their stadium.
Let's talk about going forward. Pittsburgh Riverhounds. It's going to be an interesting match to me. Pittsburgh is a side that on paper, and if you look at the stats, like they can score a lot. 538 kind of puts them in the upper third tier of USL sides. I got to admit, it was a really nice goal that one of their players, Forbes, that was on the Jamaican national team last game, that, right off the top crossbar and in the net. Like it's a team that has a serious offense. But Fletcher, what are your thoughts?
Kind of like Charleston, except a little bit different. Yes, the Riverhounds can score. They have Forbes, who is the leading assister in the history of the USL. They also have Dane Kelly, who they signed, who is the leading goal scorer in the history of the USL. They also have Russell Cicerone, who is from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, who, if you follow DCFC for a while, the name sounds familiar. Played for FC Buffalo, played for the Bucks for a little bit. He's a career USL player. Really, really talented wing player. There's always been a wonder, would he ever come back to the... Like, if the players from Michigan who when DCFC went to the USL Championship, I'm like, maybe they try to bring some more homegrown players. He's someone I thought about. But given the fact he had a great year with Pittsburgh, I figured it'd be hard to get him from there to here. So, like, they have a great offense. They also have another Michigan player, Mark Ybarra, who played for AFC Ann Arbor, who's from Ann Arbor, Michigan. So they have a bunch of players who are from the Midwest area. But I'm not necessarily that worried. I'd be worried if DCFC, their strength, again, their defense and their compactness at the back, if they struggled in either one of these two games, I'd say, all right, I'm a little bit worried if a team with high firepower comes in here because they might get punched up. But if their strength and our strength come head-to-head, it's probably going to cancel each other out. So really it comes down to whether DCFC can score and whether Pittsburgh can defend. And Pittsburgh's defense is not bad per se, but it's not great. I put more faith in DCFC getting the ball into their defense and creating some chances than I do them breaking down DCFC's defense consistently and then getting by their keeper again.
So what's your prediction?
Honestly, I'm looking at probably a 1-1 draw. If I'm trying to be really optimistic, if I was a Detroit City fan, probably a 2-1, 1-0 victory. But I'm really thinking a 1-1 draw just based off the fact that I think they'd probably beat DCFC once, but probably after DCFC squirts a goal in the net. And when strength meets strength, I kind of tend to go more towards a draw.
Does that mean it's more of a toss-up, though? Like when you say draw, do you literally mean draw, or do you think in your mind, yes, you're saying draw, but it could go either way?
No, I'm not saying like a toss-up like, I don't know. Like, I guess anyone could win, so draw. No, I mean, like, I think both teams will go out there and play their game plan the way they're supposed to play. And I think it's going to result in both of them canceling each other out.
Walking away from this game with 1 point, I think would send a message. Walking away with 3 points, and I'm going to go on the optimistic side here. I mean, it would send an even bigger message if they can walk away from this match with 3 points.
Oh, definitely. And I'm not trying to put down the team in terms of saying they can't win. I think that it's very possible they could win. I just think Pittsburgh is also going to come here ready to play. They have players who've played against DCFC before, and while it was a different version of DCFC, they understand the way that the team is run. But I think it's going to be a very, I wouldn't say a rock fight, but more of like a very in-close slap fight that will probably result in both people walking away with both their faces red, saying, well, I think I could have done better, but I'm okay with what I did.
Fletcher, I want to bring this up because it is his birthday, 30th birthday of Cyrus Saydee, longtime Detroit City FC player. And there has been a question that's been coming up over and over and over again, whether I was at the field, whether it's online, where in the world is Cyrus Saydee?
We know he is alive, obviously.
That's good.
The friendly against...
Way to start bright.
Well, I mean, you got to give him something. The friendly against Michigan State that DCFC played behind closed doors, he played for DCFC, so we know that he is connected with the club. We also know that the number 10 jersey is still available for a player to select should they sign somebody. It's been like very obviously left alone. Like it's one thing typically when a new player signs, especially a midfielder signs to a team, they want number 10. A forward wants number 9. A defender wants number 4. Keeper wants number 1, obviously. And they've signed plenty of midfielders going forward who are like, I'll take this number. I'll take this number. I'll take this number. Very much obviously leaving 10 alone. So there's still hope he could be re-signed.
We still got slots.
Definitely so. And you can sign people throughout the season. I think there's like a limit. I think there's like a time where you can't. But right now, you could still sign players. There still could be something going through the USSF in terms of processing information for a player. So, yeah, there's still a chance he could be coming back. Heck, when they played against Venezia and Simone Inzaghi, the big looming figure in Italian soccer at the time he was coaching Venezia, was like, I want him number 10. I want him on our team when we leave. I thought he was gone. I was like, yeah, Cyrus is gone. Italy's calling. Good luck. It was nice to watch him. This is a nice swan song send-off for him against a really talented team where he just diced them up. And then 2 weeks later for the next game, Cyrus Saydee lines right up, and I was like, I guess he's not gone.
All right, let's set aside the fan and the club support. Let's just talk the raw soccer. Does he belong in the USL Championship?
Of the 5 players I thought were a lock from the Nisa years of DCFC, he's like number 2. I figured Stephen Carroll was going to go. I figured Matty Lewis was going to go. I figured Nate Steinwasser would find a way to get in there as well, and maybe Maxi Rodriguez. And also Jimmy Filerman, who did not. But I was like, Cyrus is definitely, yes. As long as he decides that he still wants to play, Cyrus Saydee will be playing for DCFC the next year. So to see him not here, I was kind of stunned that he was not like the second or first name announced. and hopefully we see him soon. If not, then I understand, because soccer is very taxing on the body. As a recreational all-star, my body hurts. I can't imagine doing it for real professionally for as long as he's done it.
Yeah, I just think fans, they just want to know. It's so strong. I mean, even you see it on social media today. Of course, it's his birthday. That's the player that everybody's got questions about.
With the Pistons, the going-to-work Pistons, once Chauncey Billups was traded, Rip Hamilton left, Tayshaun Prince went to Memphis, Ben Wallace went to Chicago, went to Cleveland, then came back, Rasheed left. You're like, wow, the era is really over. The team that I fell in love with is really over. Cyrus has been with the team since its inception. The most talented player for most of his run on the team, but since its inception. So if he's truly gone, that era from the beginning, the link is fully closed. And I think a lot of the fans who've been since the beginning will be a little bit nostalgic about it. And I understand. I get it entirely. If that's your favorite player, it's like watching your favorite player hang up their cleats. And it's hard for some people to kind of wrap their head around. And unlike a few other players who either were released or let go or got a nice little thank you in some sort of way, if Cyrus is not coming back, fans want to see a testimonial match. They want to see something
100%.
where it's like we appreciate the work you've done. Let's get one more match out of you. And I want to see a testimonial match for one reason alone. If there's a testimonial, I should be invited to play. Full stop. I've been with the team as long as he has. Give me a testimonial with him as well. I would like to be on the field to take my one shot and then come right off the field. Give me a jersey with my number on the back, please. I know this is about Cyrus, but now it's about me too. So if there's a testimonial, which there should be for just the real reasons of this guy being the heart and soul of the team, Fletcher needs to be on the roster. That's it. Full stop.
Well, Fletcher Sharpe, I am really glad to see you. First time in the studio in a long time. Hopefully many more in the North End studio.
Yeah, as long as it's not cold, I'll gladly be in here as often as I can be.
It's always good to see you. All right, make sure that you tell a friend about the Daily Detroit podcast. Thank you to Jeremy, who shared it on Twitter. I really appreciate that, the good words, so that more people know about what we're doing here, not just for Detroit City FC, but coverage of Metro Detroit all 5 days a week. With that, I'm Cyrus Saydee.
And I'm Fletcher Sharpe.
Take care of each other, and we'll see you around Detroit.